What's going on? Hey KG. So today I'm going to be talking about my event participation throughout the semester and what I've done and what I've covered are the four events that I went to because according to our assignment, I'm supposed to go to four. If you hear some extra noise, pardon me. My roommates are outside and like the TV can be a little bit loud. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. So the first event I wanted to talk about was the one that you actually helped me get involved with a little bit more. So I went to go talk to the SHRM, or I went to one of their many events. What was it? Ooh, I first got inducted into there, and then they gave me an informational meeting and like just to tell me what everything was about. And I was pretty intrigued because it had to do with HR work, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot, see what more of this I can learn. And so then there was an event one day after we took pictures. We we went and um, we went to um, we went to a random classroom, and we had one of our professors, or one of the people that came to talk to us, was actually a professor here that helps with the online school. If I can find her card, I will definitely bring that out. But for the most part, yeah. And she talked to us about her experience in the HR world, and it was really interesting seeing how she brought from Canes, what she brought from, or how she helped Canes not close, because she told us her journey whenever Canes back in 2014 was really small and they were slowly going bankrupt, and so they wanted to find a way. So they seeked to her for help, and so they wanted to see if she could help in any ways, any way to keep them financially stable. And as they were talking more in depth into that, she developed this chain where everybody could be able to move up the ladder within a certain amount of time and years, or whenever they were ready. And so she helped develop that whole system, built it all up. And I think she left in 2016, 2017. I think is when she left Canes. But yeah, no, hearing her story, that was incredible. I reached out to her and I set up a few meetings to just help see what else I can do while I'm here at OU, other classes that she could recommend for me, and then potentially just telling me a little bit more insight about like what she did day to day and how I can be more effective in that field. So that was a really cool event experience that I did enjoy that a lot. And like we did little exercises to help like where we stood and like where would we be in the HR area, whether we wanted to be more financial, more social, or just like economic, or any other thing in that stature, in that area. Um, let's see. Um, in the next event that I went to was the one with Lucas, the one that he was telling us about all the different experience that he had, all the different business adventures that he's been on, and what he has been able to build over the past 5 years, or past years he's been an entrepreneur. He's told us about his failures. He told us about his current success, which was his which was PR. And so that was really cool. I really did enjoy his story just because it gave me a little bit of truth. There was a lot of truth, and some people are not willing to share a whole lot of that. And him come out and say that he was able to learn from his experiences and still be successful as he is, and to own and still do what he has, it's pretty great and pretty unique, because not many people can say they are willing to admit they like, hey, I dropped out of college and I started a business, and then I still run that business and try to come up with new ideas every day and scheduling with new and different people every day. So I think that's truly unique in what he was able to bring to the table, and I hope to I hope to keep in contact with him, because that's something that really it moved me a little bit to show that it's not a straight path for everybody, and I haven't been on the straightest path myself. So it's really helpful to me to see someone else who has struggled a little bit succeed, because it gives me hope in myself and gives me more confidence as well. And I did enjoy him coming in and just being able just to talk to us for a little bit, let us question him, like about anything and everything, about his ideas, his how he became the run of business, how well did he run it, and like what are the things that he knows that he could fit, and that he can, like, information that he can give us. And I appreciate you for bringing him in for that. The other event that I went to was my Toyota experience. So I briefly touched on Toyota as my experiences, like going in for an interview with them in my rejection project. So with the Toyota experience, I was able to, like with the SHRM, the SHRM sent out a email, I believe, an email or a text. I think they did both, but they sent that out, and they're like, hey, if anybody's interested, they're holding an HR, because the engineering school was holding a business fair. And so they were there, but they're also looking for HR as well for their 2-semester program. And so I'm like, you know what? I've never been, and what's the hurt? The best thing that's gonna come out of it is that worst comes to worst, I go in, I sit in, I listen to 45 minutes, and then I never go to that company again. That's the worst. Best, I come out with a job. I come out with possible internship, possible job. I make new business connections that can help me out in the automotive industry, and so anything is really possible with that. So I decided I went to go in, went to the info session, got to know a lot about what their mindset was to the business world. I feel like this is everybody's motto, but since they are, their main motto is they would rather you be skilled in everything, and rather than be a master of one. And that's something that I find really unique, that a company is willing to be or a company that has the environment like, hey, I want you to be good at everything, or at least be skilled in every position, so that if someone fails to meet that requirement, or like someone can't do that job, you can just jump right in and you can be like, you know what, I know how to do this. And you can, and say you leave that company, that means you can go to a different company and be like, hey, I've already taught this at this other company, at Toyota. Say you're going from Toyota to another automotive industry, say Ford or Chevy. Be like, hey, I know how to do this. I know how to work the manufacturing line, and I know how to go and run the different systems. I know you guys have a little bit of the different things, but it's still a similar concept. So that's really big to me, just because it's you able to gain be able to have that unique skill that maybe some other manufacturers may not provide. That's from what I've learned at Toyota, and they're very driven, and they want you to be comfortable. They really do. They want you to be in a comfortable environment there, and they are willing to do a lot for their employees. They want to make sure they have everything they need. So like if I were to do the 2-semester program there, they would, or rather, I think, 2-semester program, they would lease you. I think they would lease you a car, other great amenities with that. But they would switch you from each position, and whether it was on the line, in the office, or just doing something in production, just to help keep the line moving, whether that was working on the engine, helping construct the doors, helping with moving metals. But they didn't really get that much into like where you would be in the production line. It was more or less just like, this is what we're willing to provide, and this is where we'll be. And they did, if you weren't able to work there or work because they're mainly hiring for the West Virginia, I think it was West Virginia or Indiana, one of the two. I think it was West Virginia. I think so. but they were mainly hiring for that area specifically. But overall, it was a good lesson just to see how people in the business world like conduct just like info sessions. Just because maybe if I want to open up a business and I go to a college, I would want to have an info session of my own, see if any other college students would want to join my business that I created. Doesn't matter what it was, but it's good to understand and see like how many people will come around to this, because I think I saw, I think 13 people. I think I was the only person for HR that was there. Not really surprised, but yeah. But I asked my questions, and I'm trying to remember what I asked. I think it was how their job was on a day-to-day basis, but I think majority of those companies are going to be like, well, the job, it depends. There's no really standard days. You're going to get hit with everything left to right and center, and like from every angle. So there's really no the same day. There really isn't. So it just depends on the day. There's good days and there's bad days. I think that's what they were trying to get across, but it's going to be a good place to work. So that's what I got out of my Toyota experience. And that info session was just overall helpful, just because it helps me prepare better to know what I'm going to get into next time I go into like a big company like that, like how they're going to operate and how their process is. So it gives me a little insight on like maybe as an entrepreneur on how I'm going to be able to operate in the future, like how I'm going to be able to show off my company in what way, what do I need to grasp some of these college kids in, like reel them in into like maybe signing on to the job. So that's something that can be really helpful in the future. And then my last event that I did was a talk with, so our professor in my management 2000 class, he hosted it was for introduction to management, and he hosted a guest speaker that he brought in, and he said he was going to be during like around, I think it was after class, he was going to bring him in. And I think one of the things we were talking about was managing our career as business in the business world. That was his big thing that he talked about. He talked about how we're very young people. He really wanted to make that his main point, that right now we are between the ages of 19 and 22. And this is the youngest and the most eager we'll ever be in our lives. And to that, I'm like, okay, some people are going to be driven, yes. But there's others that won't, and that just, it depends. Depends on the people, it depends on like what's going to motivate you in life. And there's a book that he told me to grab, to buy, and I was like, okay, you know what, I'll look into it, because it said something, I think so the book is called The Defining Decade, Why Your 20s Matter and How You Can Make the Most of Them Now. So I haven't had the chance to read this yet, just because one, it's finals. Two, it's very hard for me to read, like just not hard for me to read, but like it's just hard for me to focus when I read. I just need to be in the zone. Anyways, I'll probably end up reading this on my plane ride tomorrow. But anyways, but yeah, no, his whole concept was just like, we need to be more active in the business world, especially while we're at college, because we have access to so many people on campus, and just even having 1,000 people is huge to have in your network. It is huge for the business world, because it's 1,000 more people that can be customers, can be investors, that can be people that you can call up for potential favors or clients, just in any type of way. So this is the time to be making those like connections with people, not just for the business purpose, but for also not just for friends, but just it's the mix between business and friendship. So they can be utilized as both. It's utilizing the network that you've already created throughout your college experience, and to surround yourself with the people who you want to be successful, not to like diminish anybody else who's who's like, oh, I want to party a lot, or I want to, like, I go out a decent amount, or other people like that. But it's to surround yourself with people who you want to be successful with, and with the people with a mindset who want to be driven to be better, and to surround yourself with more people who are like-minded in that such. Because that, in his explanation, he wants us to be successful, and which I completely get. He's talking from, it sounded like he was just talking from father, like, standpoint, point of view, rather than like a speaker. That's what, to me, that's what it sounded like, just because he was just trying to basically make the most of what the time that you have here. And I feel like that's just a general rule for life, just to make the most of what you have, and why not just give it your all at 100% of the time. And we're all, well, it's a whole learning process. I mean, everything we do every day is a learning process. We learn new things about ourselves daily, no matter how big, how small. If you like a pickle, you don't like a pickle, you know what you want to do in life. You don't. It's the simple things, it's the bigger things. I mean, eventually, like, we're all gonna figure out what we want to do. But if we want to get on the horse now, it's better to do it now than later, because later, it's later. You can't change the past. You can only change what's right now. So I think that's what it was, main point. I really enjoyed it, because that's something that sometimes you need a swift kick in the rear to really get going. And so I feel like that was really an eye-opening moment for some people. I know it was like my eyes were already peered at that, but now it's in a more, I can see clearly. So I feel that that event was really helpful in many ways. All these events, overall, as a recap, all these events were helpful. All these events will make me better, because it gives me experience, it shows me different knowledge in different areas, not just in HR, not just in public speaking, and not just in the classroom. It's going to help my overall performance in the business world. And I think that's just as well as my own life. So these events have been helpful for like an entrepreneur like myself that I might be in the future. So I will say that these have been helpful for me. And maybe not for others, but I know that I've got something out of this. And I think that's going to do it.